What's up, my sweet babies? How y'all doing? What's up? What's up? What's up, my sweet babies? Okay, is that the theme for the day? That's the word of the day. My sweet babies. My sweet babies. Hey, y'all, listen. Hey, everybody, come on in, take a seat. Thank you for becoming a member, Angela. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think you've been a member before, so thank you for rejoining. Hey, 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 come on in, come on in, come on in. Now, listen. This morning, I was scrolling through the TikTok because for whatever reason, I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and couldn't go back to sleep. And I literally came across the video of Monique's son this morning. I sent it to Abby. I sent it to Abby first thing this morning. She probably, I don't know if she in here or not, but she probably saw it. And by the time I got to work, baby, everybody in the intranet had gotten to it. So the good thing is, by the time I got off work, because I said, we're going to talk about this today. By the time I got off work, Monique and Daddy have given us a response. So we are going to listen. We're going to jump right into it today, you guys, because I'm not going to be before you long, because we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Russell Simmons. We got a double header today, okay? We're going to come back and talk about Russell Simmons. So with that being said, Monique, her son. Okay, so Monique has, if I'm wrong, put it in the chat if I'm wrong. Monique has 4 biological sons. Altogether, I think she has 4 sons that she claims. She has 2 children that she had before Sydney, and then she has a set of twins with Sydney, and then she has a Sydney has a son from a previous relationship. So altogether, there are 5 sons, but only 4. Three of them are her bio. Oh, that's right. She adopted. I'm sorry. You're right. Thank you, El said. The oldest one is adopted. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. So she has 3 biological children. Now, before we get into this, I know, what's up, Cruz? I'm going to call you tonight because I know I got to talk to you before Lent starts. I know you are taking a sabbatical for Lent. Lord, what Simmons done now? Child. So this morning, I woke up to Monique's son talking on his experience. So a lot of people would say, why is he saying something now? Why is he talking now? So the reason why he is speaking now, according to him, is because in the Club Shay Shay video, Monique spoke to her relationship with her son, and she spoke to adopting a child to abandon him is nasty work. She said that she gives that relationship over to the universe, and that she basically is praying to the universe that they get their relationship back on track or whatever. So that is why he came out to speak. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all the truth. I tried to find the soundbite. If somebody can find the soundbite, I'll play it. But listen, that Club Shay Shay video was 3 hours long, and I honestly could not find this. I remember, because I know I watched the whole interview, so I know she spoke to it in the interview, but I just could not find the timestamp. So if somebody finds the timestamp of when she spoke about her son and praying to the universe for that relationship, please let me know and I'll play it. But honestly, y'all, I could not get the timestamp. That's part of the reason why I'm late. Part of the reason why I'm late with starting this live is because I was looking for that timestamp so I could play it to y'all. Play it for you guys. Because I don't like y'all just listening to what I'm saying. I want y'all to hear it, so y'all can't be like, well, Really B said this and Really B said that. No, I'm letting you hear it for yourself. But in the Club Shay Shay interview, Monique spoke to her relationship with her sons, and she admitted that she did not raise her 2 oldest sons. She said that she was more interested in chasing fame than being a mother. She said that. That came out of her mouth. Now, listen, is she the first woman to make a sacrifice for her children in the name of success and fame? No, she's not. Unfortunately, in this society, the woman oftentimes has to be the one to make the sacrifice because, my mother used to say, my grandmother used to say, a father's baby, a father's maybe, a mother's baby. or mother's baby, or father's maybe, because men can always walk away without the stigma that a mother has. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm not judging her for that, because a lot of women have done it. Okay. If we were going to start judging women for making that decision and that sacrifice, child, that would be a long list, and there it is. But she did say it. So his response was specifically to that. They do divide them up. They do divide them up. But I just couldn't find it. And again, I was running out of time. I was coming straight home from work. But we're going to listen to the son's TikTok, and if somebody finds it and y'all give it to me, I'll play it. But y'all don't have to. Okay. I mean, I appreciate it if you do, but you don't have to. So let's get into the son's TikTok. I know you guys have probably heard it, but for the purposes of my video, we're going to listen to it and we're going to do some commentary on it. Okay. Let me get to it. Jump to it. All right. And if you guys do not know who he is on TikTok, his name is Show, SHO _ Nomad, NOMAD, and then capital D, capital A, capital D. What I find interesting is that when you go to, again, I don't even know how he popped up on my TikTok, but I guess Monique is just trending and it came up. But if you look at the picture on his TikTok, it is a picture of him and Monique, right? It's a picture of him as a baby and Monique holding him. And then that's his name on TikTok. Now, this number, I should have took a screenshot of how many followers he had before this video went viral. But if you look at his TikTok, most of his TikToks are story times, are him talking about his daughter. He has a baby, and he's talking about, like, one video, he's up watching Bluey in the middle of the night because he said his daughter is up, that kind of thing. So I'm saying that to say he has not been capitalizing off of being Monique's son, at least not on this TikTok account. You don't see Monique's name on here. You don't see a bunch of videos about Monique with this and Monique that and my mother this and my mother that. There really isn't a lot of that out there. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't other videos. That doesn't mean he doesn't have another TikTok. But on this TikTok, and so I'm saying that for a reason. So let's listen to what he has to say, okay?
Hi. I am Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe. I am to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Clip Shay interview that she did, where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without...
When I heard him say that part this morning, first of all, thank you, Phil. Phil, send me the clip. So when we get done listening to this, we'll listen to her Club Shay Shay clip. Thank you, Phil, for sending it to me. I appreciate it. And welcome, Cocktails and Chanel. She said that they just joined and they are from DC. What up, my DC homies? Hey, baby, when I tell you I about fell out my bed this morning when he said I want to free her. He said I would like to free her from having to spin that narrative.
Work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other.
Now, I think that that's fair that he says neither one of us. So he's not putting all of this on Monique. He's saying, listen, both of us are in this space. Both of us know what this space is, and neither one of us are interested in moving out of it. So he's not putting all of it on Monique.
Or separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly in my experience will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble.
Baby, when he said standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. You know what that said to me? You know what I heard when he said that? I have always said, and for those of you who have been following me for a while, y'all know I've said this before. Just because you say, well, I'm just real. I'm just real. People just can't take me. And I've always said, being real doesn't give you license to be a bitch. And I feel like I heard some of that in what he said. Just because you're speaking your truth, because your truth ain't always the truth, does not make you noble. And he said, I am not interested in her version of the truth, meaning her point of view on what happened as he was a kid growing up may not necessarily be his point of view. Now, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. We know that. There's three versions of the truth. My side, your side, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. But go ahead.
I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way.
Again, I can respect what he's saying because he said, listen, when somebody say, well, why are you speaking on it now? And I love his response was, I don't know. Maybe it's my form of therapy. Like, he's not trying to make an excuse or justify. He's saying, listen, I'm coming down here to tell my truth. You can like it or not. You can accept it or not. You can listen or not. And then he said, I find it interesting that her daddy, notice how he keep referring to Sydney as her daddy, only speaks of the 3 children that they have over there, yet she's openly speaking about a 4th child. I find that interesting that he doesn't even acknowledge me and my brother at all.
But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect, we're all human, but my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability forwards.
Again, we got to listen to the wordplay. He said, my mother does a great job of acknowledging things, but not taking accountability, which honestly, y'all, has been what I've been saying about Monique for the last year. Monique is great letting you know everything that has ever happened to her, whether good, bad, or indifferent. She can acknowledge it, but Monique, in my opinion, does not take accountability for her part in any of it. My opinion. That's my opinion.
Only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the excuse me, the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still, during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There's still
Now, my auntie T Trisha, I want to scroll up because I want to read what she said because I wanted to put it in. Hold on. That's my auntie T Trisha. She said, "Nobody, me. Sometimes the apology may not be phrased the way you were expecting. You still have to be okay." So I agree. I think that I first of all, I don't think that I already told y'all before the whole apology thing. Leah Taylor, what does that mean? He's zesty. I don't know what that means. And if that is a way of saying that he's gay or something, can you please not say those kinds of things in my chat? I find that to be offensive. I told you guys before, I've never understood that thought process when it says the apology is for you, the other person. I don't understand that. Maybe I'm not emotionally intelligent enough to understand that concept, but to me, the apology is for the person you wrong. The apology is not for me. If I apologize to you for doing something to you, the apology is for you so that you hear what I'm saying. You know that I acknowledge that I did something to you. I accept that I did something to you. And I'm telling you that I regret it. I am sorry that I did it. Now, do you have to accept my apology? You do not. You don't. You don't have to accept my apology. Hell, you don't even have to acknowledge my apology. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you that I am acknowledging that I did something to you. So to me, again, like I said, maybe I'm not emotionally intelligent enough to accept that. I don't know. I don't know. But I never understood that concept when people say, oh, the apology is for you, it's not for the other person. I've never understood that. And again, I accept that maybe I'm not smart enough for that. Phil got it for me, Tracy. Thank you, baby. Right. Change behavior is absolutely the best apology.
And to this day, that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those things are supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then he gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't, I'm glad I didn't do that. And when he told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. It's not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even thought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? But it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct.
So it sounds like what he's saying is that he put aside his own feelings that he had about Monique to try to make sure Monique had a relationship with her granddaughter, and it sounds like that has not been successful.
Can say good for her. The universe did bless her with three other sons, and God willing, I'm sure that all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but whenever they hear me talk, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience.
Right.
With my mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you were not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. My mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well, but the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, not appreciated if she stops saying stuff like that.
So that's what he said. I'm going to read through a couple of the comments in the chat, and then I'm going to play you the clip. Thank you, Phil, for finding the clip from the Club Shay Shay interview, and then we are going to address Monique's response today. Well, really was Daddy's response today. See, Trisha says, someone woke me up out of a deep sleep to offer an apology, and I was like, hell, what is the apology for this time? I said, okay, and went back to sleep. Right. Like, it is what it is. Leah Taylor says, you don't know what I'm talking about. Why you want to carry it on when it was left? I don't even know what you're talking about. All I said was if you meant that comment in a way that was derogatory, you were insinuating that he was gay. I said I would appreciate you not say those types of things in my chat because I find them offensive. I'm really not sure what that response was. If you didn't mean it that way, then fine. But that's why I asked you what you meant. Moving on. Also, an apology doesn't equal accountability. True. Course correction says if she wants a relationship with him, she needs to talk to him. And she needs to ask him what she can do to make amends. If anything, maybe there's nothing he wants from her now. True. And it sounds like it isn't. I'll be honest with you. nothing that he said sounds like he's looking for reconciliation. It really doesn't. It sounds like what he's saying to her in a very eloquent way is, keep my name out your mouth and keep me out of your narrative. That's what it sounds like. Because let's be clear, this thing with Monique has been going on for years, and this is the first time that I know of that I've heard him speak on anything. Now, it's interesting that DL Hughley did say in his response to Monique last week or early, whenever it was, yeah, it was last week. I did find it interesting that DL Hughley said that her own kids don't mess with her. Now he said plural. So I don't know if Monique doesn't have a relationship with more than just this son, but DL Hughley said Monique's kids with an S don't mess with her. Also, I find it interesting. Monique said she was a grandmother. So do her other sons have children already and Shadon is not aware, or was she claiming Shadon's granddaughter even though she doesn't have a relationship with her? I don't know. These are all things. Mia says, I respect this young man's eloquence, calm and introspective. I do too. I love the way he spoke. He didn't come out ranting and raving. He ain't cuss. He didn't call his mama out her name. Like, I love it. And I think for me, that's why I'm like, okay, that was impressive. In my opinion, it's never going to matter to him what she says or does at this point. He is comfortable with his hurt. Yeah, I agree. Auntie T. Trisha, I agree 100%. She can apologize until she's blue in the face. It means nothing without changed behavior. And to me, she made it clear that when she let daddy respond. You know what? I agree. And I'm going to be honest with you. Dang, what you just said, I lost my, anyway, something you just said, I agree with. I was going to say, she shouldn't have brought him up. You can't be mad at his respectful response and perspective. That's it. And I think his response was respectful. I mean, he, like I said, he didn't rant and rave. He didn't call her out of her name. I mean, none of that, Two jealous ass comedians on one tour. I do believe certain things that Kat and Monique said, but they're both giving me jealous because their careers didn't do what they felt they should have. I pray I never hurt my child as she has hurt hers. And if I do, that I'm able to make amends and take accountability in a way that heals and repairs. Yeah. TT says he doesn't sound bitter at all. He sounds like he has been going to therapy. It does. Now, it definitely sounds like he's been sitting on somebody's couch, honey. All right. I'm catching up on the comments. I'm not reading every single comment, but I am reading a few comments, you guys. All right. Now I'm going to go. Thank you, Phil, for sending me the clip. Let me go to the clip from the Club Shay Shay interview. Because again, y'all know I like putting things in context. So I want to make sure that I am letting you guys hear exactly what Monique said, honey. Phil just sent it to me. Okay.
What's your relationship like? Is he resentful of that?
We're still very much separated, and it's one of those things where you have to pray to the universe and say, let time do the healing, and that's it.
Right.
That's it. Let time do that healing. It may heal it in time, and it may not, and that's something that we as parents have to say. Listen,
right.
I've done what I could do. I've taken accountability for it. Now it's up to you.
Right.
That's like when somebody's saying, Shannon, I want to apologize to you. Now it's up to you.
Whether or not to accept.
Whether or not to, but once I give it to you, I've done my part. And don't apologize like no punk. I'm just sorry for everything. That gets your ass out of it. No, break it down.
So again, his thing was that she was being she does go on to speak a little bit more because again, I remember her saying that her aunt raised her son. I remember her speaking. Maybe it wasn't the Club Shay interview. It may have been another one, but I remember her saying that she did not raise her oldest children. I remember her saying that. Now today, Monique did respond. Well, again, Daddy responded. And a lot of people Baby, that chat was tearing them up. That chat was tearing them up. Do you hear me? Shout out to the 316 people in the room. If you could please hit that like button when you come on down to take a seat, please. Please please hit that like button. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, child. We have a good time. Let's get into it. Now, I did not screen record it, which means that I can't control the stopping and starting and all of that stuff. So we're gonna do the best we can with what we got, child. We're gonna do the best we can with what we got. But Monique and them have it up on their channel, so they don't think they did anything wrong, honey. They probably think they ate that because they still got it up on their channel, honey. All right, so let's listen to it. We're not gonna listen to the whole thing because Lord knows they end up talking about Oprah and Tyler again. Listen, I'm so sick. Listen, you know how I knew Monique was gonna start talking about Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry again? Because Tyler Perry is gonna be on Oprah Winfrey's masterclass, talking about how he got past his childhood trauma. I said, I knew good and daggone well. I knew it. I knew it.
Just wait for y'all to come on in the room. We can have this conversation with our community.
And then they make everything a black and white issue. They started talking about us acting up in front of white folk. I'm sorry. Telling Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry to suck your... All right, let's listen to what these people talking about.
Pickles, stop playing with that pickle. The reason we're having it is a multitude of reasons, but we're going to start off with, there was a Instagram that was put up, or I guess
It was
TikTok that was put up.
My son, my oldest son, Shalom. And this is what I want to say to this. There's some people that are saying, oh, you should be ashamed of your mothering skills. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is what I'll say. Let's let it play out. Because the same ones that said to me, I was crazy, I was deranged, we watched it play out. So just like with my son, we'll watch this play out. And I do want to address this though, Shalom. When you say her daddy, then that's when mommy gonna say stop playing, because you know this has been Uncle Sid your whole life. Uncle Sid knew you before you knew you. So for you to say her 3 sons, yes, you're absolutely right. He has 3 sons. He can't claim you as his son because he's always been Uncle Sid, and he knows your daddy very well.
And love that brother. And the irony of all of this is not what is said, but what's left.
Yes.
See, you're leaving off the fact that the last time we laid eyes on you, your mother got you everything you needed for the newborn baby about 3 years. You're forgetting about how I, from Georgia, am talking you through getting your car after we gave you the half the down payment for it, and you were 31 years of age, 32 years of age at that point. And I'm negotiating the deal with the dealer for you as you sit there. And you have the vehicle you're driving right now because of your mother. The things that you're leaving out when you're expressing what you're expressing in reference to your mother. You're not expressing the relationship that you have with your father, where you spoke ill to him, not to mention you spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. The one thing these individuals, and to the individuals out here that oftentimes speak after they've heard one side of the story, there's an old saying, believe half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take the word for it, but what we will convey is this. Those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults,
Children. Raising children.
right on. Those who are parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things. The reason why it was so important for us to entertain these conversations that we typically have privately, or that we're influenced to have privately amongst the people in our community, is because we need to stop being embarrassed about being human beings and about being Black human beings. You will oftentimes hear us saying we are embarrassing ourselves in front of them. Who is them?
Who are they?
Because when you hear someone articulate these things, that is the slave's mentality, and it makes us believe that we as Black people need to conduct ourselves with dignity because white people are watching. You should conduct yourself with dignity because the spirit of you is watching. But we need to have these conversations out loud and taboo because we have a finite period of time together here on this earth. You will travel through infinity with the spirit that you had all along, and you will not remember the ridicule that you received, but you will be judging yourself. You will be determining for the rest of your life which way that you go as you have thus far. So this conversation is about speaking directly to what situations are. And many people oftentimes, when they are presented with an issue, they stay quiet, they hide, they disappear. And what we're saying is that's not who we are, because what you cannot do is you cannot trick an honest person.
Come on.
You can demean, you can say whatever you want to say about them negatively, but what will happen is truth has a way of standing the test of time. I forgot to have my phone to read the last text message that I gave to you, Shalom, where I told you about the understanding of how you are speaking to a woman and how you as a man and how you perceive things may be completely different from how your wife, how your mother, how your sister, how your daughter will look at things. And when you learn how to communicate a little bit better, then things will happen a little bit better. Young man, because of the challenges that this young brother has had with mental illness. So we're communicating that out loud to speak to our community, to say, listen, y'all, if we have more public conversation, there will be less private acts. There will be less private issues that we carry on because we're afraid to communicate in front of them.
So when we get to a place where you want to be free, you will stop being scared to say what's real. You'll stop being fearful of having conversations that normally take place in private and nobody ever really knows the outcome. And from there, when you were saying earlier about how we're looking in front of white folks. When I do hear our brother Greg Mack say, the studio is watching y'all and the executives are watching y'all, so what?
If the executives are watching closely, the individuals that will want to interact with us are those who.
Now I'm just confusion. So let's unpack. I didn't stop it because it's on Instagram and I can't stop and start it, and I didn't want to have to keep going back and trying to. I didn't screen record it. So let's unpack this. First of all, Monique, that is your son talking to you. I am not understanding why your daddy had a whole 15-minute diatribe on your relationship with your son. Let's start there. Number two, I understand that this was your best friend from high school. And so your son grew up knowing him as Uncle so-and-so, Uncle Sidney, whatever. I get that part. I 100% understand that your son grew up speaking to him and addressing him as Uncle Sidney. However, comma, when your relationship with Uncle Sidney changed, so did your son's relationship with Uncle Sidney change, or it should have. So he is no longer Uncle Sidney. He is now daddy, pop, stepdad. Maybe y'all want to come up with a nickname for him, whatever. So for you to say, that's Uncle Sidney. You've always called him that. He knew you before you knew you. And later on, because we ain't listening to this whole thing, because child, she starts going down the road of Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, and I just can't do it again. I didn't have time to screen record it so I could go to the timestamps, y'all. We're not doing it again. I'm not. Now y'all might keep walking down that road with Oprah and Tyler, but I get off the train. So, but later on in this live, he says, you asked if you could call me dad, and I told you no, because you already have a father. He also refers to him as nephew. He never calls that young man son. He never even says, I love you like a son. But the relationship was complicated because me and your mom were friends first. So here's the thing. I have a lot of friends who are in blended families. And let me tell you something. I have some friends that will damn near cuss you out if you refer to their blended children as step anything. I have a friend and she calls that baby her bonus baby. And don't you ever say it no different. I have some friends that never refer to their children as anything other than their children. They don't say those are my son's kids, my husband's kids, or those are my wife's kids. They never differentiate the relationship. So for you to be sitting here after this boy had already told the world, for you to be sitting here, excuse me, and to say, that's Uncle Sid. Y'all been married for 20 years. At what point is he no longer Uncle Sid and he becomes Pop or Dad or Daddy? When does the relationship flip? So what that says to me is that Sidney never accepted your child as his child. If Sidney's out here saying he got 3 kids, but you really got 4, Monique, or 5, 4, 5. If Sidney is claiming his child that he had from a previous relationship and the twins that y'all had together, as a woman, I got a problem with that. Because you met me with 2 kids, which means that, well, not met me, shit. They said they knew each other from high school. So you knew me before I even had these kids, which means you were there for all of it. So for you to not accept my kids, matter of fact, if we was best friends, like Monique said, they was best friends since high school. They was roommates. She said Sidney was at all of the weddings to the other men. Sidney was around when the father stopped doing what the father was supposed to be doing. He should have been the first one saying that's my son. He should have been the first one saying that's my son. So for me, it further lends credence to what the son is saying about this relationship. Then you want to throw the money out. Well, when your daughter was born 3 years ago, we bought everything for them. Let me tell you something. And I know everybody's relationship is different. I know everybody's family dynamic is different. But let me tell you something. In my family, when somebody pregnant, they not gonna come out their pocket. When I say we're gonna try to buy every damn thing off that registry. So when he had, like, you're saying that like you did him a favor, that was grandma. And grandma is rich. I put rich in quotation marks, but grandma is rich. Why wouldn't she want to buy up the registry? Why wouldn't she buy the crib and the car seat and the stroller and $5,000 cases of diapers and outfits and shoes. Why wouldn't she do? You're saying that like y'all did him a favor. She was grandma, and grandma got a little coin. Now I ain't saying she a multi-millionaire, you know, but so again, you're throwing stuff out there as if you did something for me. You're throwing it out there as if you did something. And he said in the video that he put his own feelings aside to try to make sure that Monique had a relationship with her granddaughter. So it sounds like all of that happened during the time in which he said he was trying. Now that's what it say to me. Y'all tell me in the chat if I'm saying something wrong or if y'all hearing something different. But that's what it says to me, is that all of this happened around the time that he was trying to build a relationship with y'all. Now this car situation, listen. When you say, thank you, Phil. Phil said, I heard this and was like, damn, he is hurt. Yes, Phil. I'm sorry. I know you posted that a while back. I forgot to read it, baby. Shout out. It's almost 400 of y'all in the room, and I appreciate you so much. If you're here, please subscribe. And if you haven't already done so, hit that like button, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you for both. So the car thing. Now, again, I can't speak for other people's experience or other people's relationship. But let's just assume, let's just walk down that road that y'all had to help the boy with the down payment on his car, and you were on the phone. Now, what you said was you was on the phone negotiating the deal, which to me says that further tells me that there was a control issue there. That's what that says to me. And I'm going to tell you why I say that in a second. Give me a second. I'm going to come back to that. Well, I'm going to say it now. What that says to me is y'all agreed to give this boy the money. Now, maybe the boy needed the money. Maybe he had been in a car accident and the accident was his fault. But he needed a car because he can't get back and forth to work without a vehicle because he lives somewhere where the buses ain't easily. He called his mama and said, Mama, I need you. Mama, I need some help. Yes, he was 31 years old. And some people might say a 31-year-old shouldn't have to ask their mama and daddy for some help. I'm sorry, that's my phone ringing. And some people might say, it's still connected to the speaker. And some people might say that a mama and that a child shouldn't need their mama and daddy at 31 years old. But you know the story that I just told y'all, the example that I just gave y'all, baby, that was me. And I was older than 31. Okay. I was in actually a car accident. It wasn't even my fault. It was a hit and run. I got involved in the hit and run. My car was totaled. It wasn't nobody for me to sue. It wasn't nobody for my insurance company to sue. So guess what? It fell on me. I ain't have it, but I needed a car. Now I worked it out on my own, but don't think I ain't get on the phone and call my daddy and say, hey, I might need you on standby because this happened and this is going on and this is what ain't happening and this is what ain't going on. Don't think I didn't call my daddy and have him on standby and say, look, I might need your help. Because guess what? I'm grown, but shit happens. So for him to be like, oh, well, you know, but let me tell you what my daddy didn't do. My daddy didn't make it a condition of him helping me to be on the phone to negotiate the deal. Now, I don't know how the conversation went, but I'm gonna just go by what we've seen of Mr. Sidney over the last couple of years. Do y'all really feel like that Monique's son called Monique and said, I need a little change. I need some help getting this car, whatever the situation was on why he was trying to get a car. And do y'all think for a minute that Sidney did not insert himself into that situation? Why did you feel the need to be in Georgia and be on the phone with a car dealer in Maryland? Why did you feel the need to do that? The last two cars I purchased by myself. Now, let's be clear. It was frustrating because they see a woman walk in the dealership and they think you stuck on stupid. But I did the last two. I didn't need my dad to come to the dealership with me. I just might have needed some help. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just sitting here and I'm like, so for y'all, right, St. James say the pockets are never closed when you're a parent. Right. I mean, so I'm just sitting here and I'm listening to him And I'm like, so again, that's not making me feel like you're doing anybody a favor. That was her child and he needed her help. The car you still drive to this day. How you know? Y'all ain't even speaking to each other. You don't know what that boy drive. I mean, you might, but you know what I'm saying. Then you throw out the mental illness. Why would you do that to that child? Even if I don't know whether it's true or not, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care. Why would you do that? Why would you put that information out about that child? And I say a child, even though he grown, but when I say your child, let me just do that. Why would you do that to your child? I don't know anything about this young man other than what I saw this morning on the TikTok. Okay. He may very well have a history. I don't know. But for you to throw it out there as if that is going to make us go, oh, he got mental illness. Oh, okay. When we know, especially in 2024, that people get up every day and function very well with all sorts of diagnoses. Okay. Bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, like mental illness covers a wide umbrella. And there's so many people today that function, that have very productive lives, that are considered mentally ill, and it has nothing to do with their cognitive ability to accept or understand or know when they're being mistreated and when they're not feeling like they are loved. Now, I ain't say not loved, but feeling like they are not loved. And I thought that was some real up stuff to do to that boy. And for Monique to sit there and let the conversation continue. And then, and I know y'all not gonna walk down this road with me. So just love me anyway, because I know y'all not gonna see what I'm getting ready to say. I know y'all not gonna agree. When I say y'all, you know what I mean. I don't mean everybody. Danny said we only got 186 likes. We got 400 people. Can we please get to at least? Can we get to 300 likes? Can we get to 300 likes? Please, and thank you. I find it very interesting that you said that certain things should be handled behind closed doors. Didn't you just say the exact opposite for 3 hours over on Club Shay Shay last Wednesday? I feel like you said the exact opposite over on Club Shay Shay last week, Monique. I feel like you justified posting that audio of Tyler Perry because you said things should be out in the open. And I don't want nobody to say, well, Tyler Perry disrespected her publicly. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Tyler Perry ain't never publicly. Now, I don't know what he said behind closed doors, but Tyler Perry has never publicly disrespected Monique. Neither has Oprah. Now, probably some things probably were said. I wasn't there. And I'm not saying Oprah is perfect, and neither is Tyler Perry. I ain't putting them on no pedestal. But publicly, I have never. And if you have, send me the clip. Y'all send me the video and send me the link on Instagram right now. I have never heard Tyler Perry or publicly disrespect that woman. So when you say some things should be handled privately, I want to know why you felt like your son should have privately dealt with whatever he needed to deal with, but it's okay for you to talk about Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey. Hell, your husband talked about Stephen A. Smith, although he was responding to Stephen A. Smith, Greg Mathis, child. Hell, she cussed out Gail in her stand-up Saturday night. That clip ain't really making the rounds the way the other clip is. But hell, she was cussing out Gail. Like, you have talked about everybody. You talked about Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Al Sharpton. You'd have threw everybody in your gumbo, Mo. 4-hour gumbo mode. But you threw everybody in the gumbo. And so my thing is, just like you have a right to share your experience and name names, fine. But so does he. So for you to put this on, oh, we can't be airing out our dirty laundry in front of the white man. You have told Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry to suck your you know what on more than one occasion. What is that? You cussed out D.L. Hughley and you called him everything but a child of God. You talked about his wife. You talked about his daughter's trauma. Then you re-traumatized her by defending the fact that you brought up her trauma. I ain't saying that D.L. Hughley is a good guy. Don't know him. I don't agree with a lot of what D.L. Hughley does and says. But we ain't going to sit here and act like you don't talk about whoever you want to talk about whenever you want to talk about them. And now all of a sudden, certain things should be handled behind closed doors. And then, and I'm going to let y'all hear, it's kind of chopped up because I was trying to screen record it and be at work. Don't tell nobody I was at work listening to Monique. Don't y'all tell nobody. Don't y'all snitch on me. But I was trying to screen record it. So it didn't get the whole thing, but I'm going to let y'all hear what I got because I want y'all to hear it because it goes directly to what I just said. And then I'm going to shut up. After that, then I'm going to shut up. But I want y'all to hear it. I think it's this because it's not long. It's not even a minute long. But this is her talking about, she's talking about Lee Daniels. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. But she's talking about how her and Lee Daniels on this last movie she did with him, it was being filmed in Pittsburgh and how the two of them were taking a walk. And I want y'all to hear. I don't know how much of it I got, so I'll fill in the blanks, but I want y'all to hear it first, and then I'll fill in the blanks of what was said.
I said, Lee, can't I just let this shit go? You and I would not be taking this walk down the river. And then,
But I need people to read that in. Had I let it go, you and I right now, Brother Lee, would not have been able to go on this walk as fun. So the conversation we are having right now, because the only real reason for it is to ultimately have peace, especially when you defend yourself. The reason we're having the conversations that we're having right now is for the purposes of a level of unification amongst folks. We love to go on that walk with you one day, Oprah. We love to go on the walk with you one day, Tyler. But you know.
So what she said was, she said that her and Lee Daniels was going on a walk, and she said that Lee Daniels told her, "Why didn't you just shut the F up? Like, I really wished." So they must have been talking about what happened to them. He said, "Why do we have to keep revisiting it? Me and you have moved on. We have worked it out." And what you heard was her response to him when she said, had I shut up, me and you would never have reconciled. Had I shut up, me and you wouldn't be taking this walk together right now. First of all, I don't agree. I feel like if you had shut up, maybe you and Lee Daniels would have never fell out to begin with. Second of all, again, I say, so again, you're justifying speaking out publicly to Lee Daniels or about your experience with Lee Daniels, but your son supposed to not say nothing. You know what Harold said? Sydney is a used car salesman. To me, always has been a slick talker. Let me tell you what I find to be funny. Baby, first of all, they was eating her ass up in that chat. If y'all go back and y'all watch that live and y'all can see the chat, baby, they was eating her ass up in that chat. Okay? They was eating her ass up in that chat. That's number one. Number two, baby, somebody wrote in the chat, he sound like a cult leader. I said, you know how you get ready to laugh, but then you pause and you stop and you go, huh. Now, it's 400 of us in this chat, okay? I want all 400 of y'all to be back here in 30 minutes. I need all 400 of y'all to be back here in 30 minutes because we're going to talk about this Russell Simmons lawsuit. Now, we know that for many, many years, Russell Simmons has been dodging, these accusations. Well, someone has finally filed a lawsuit. And we're not going to read through the actual lawsuit. I don't have energy for that because y'all know I think I'm still recovering from the Vince McMahon one. I'm not being funny. I'm not joking. I really think I'm still recovering from Vince McMahon. But we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to read through what was published in the paper. I don't think I'm ready. Because if y'all weren't here when we did the Vince McMahon one, y'all, it was a lie. And I don't know. I just ain't ready. I just ain't ready, okay? All right, y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all later. 30 minutes. Peace.